Hello and welcome to First Issues. Today on the chopping block is Black Bolt number 1, written by Saladin Ahmed and art by Christian Ward. So, first and foremost, I want to say that I wasn't originally going to do this video. I've been working on a new layout for the backgrounds for First Issues, as well as not being able to pay $70 a week, and that's why this show has sort of been put on the back burner, outside of any really big things. So I was going to skip this mainly because I don't care about Black Bolt. I don't care about the Inhumans, and quite literally Mouseful, that's Marvel under Disney, doesn't understand how to make the Inhumans an interesting book. See my video on the Inhumans push to get a better grasp of what I mean. But has it gotten better? Honestly, yes and no. This comic is the perfect example of where a good concept can fail by being in the Marvel limelight. The basic plot is that Black Bolt is now imprisoned by a mysterious, kinda creepy dude, and that's about it. Yes, there is some filler in there, like him breaking out of his first cell, which was designed to be broken out of, so he could randomly have a fight with Absorbing Man, then being killed by the mysterious warden, before waking up on a wall to say that he deserves that he's there. First off, I want to say that I truthfully enjoyed the artwork here. Ward gives such a phenomenally creepy and near-horror vibe to the scenes with Black Bolt by himself and coming across the warden that it really does just draw you in. Though his action art is a bit stilted, with it mainly being used as background dressing for a standard, hey, this guy should join us, kind of prison thing. It's great looking, and I kinda want that cover as a poster, cause it is pretty sweet. But then that leads me to Ahmed's writing. It borders on great, it truly does. The first few pages before he breaks out of his cell is pretty great, if it is a little repetitive on how much him waking up in filth is, when we don't see a lot of filth in the art, just a very dank darkness. But when Black Bolt is by himself, Ahmed writes the third-person narrative very well to give a very solid feel for the psychology that could have been in this book. Why do I say could have? Well, because of two major scenes. First, frankly, I think it was a bad idea having him in just another prison with many other inmates, including Creel. That hurt the book's enjoyability because it really just brought a relatively riveting character piece into a standard prison scene that was honestly fairly mediocre. The dialogue surrounding his "I don't need to use my powers on this clown" after Creel broke his muzzle, which I get, but considering the payoff, there is very little reason for him to be muzzled. It'd be a hell of a game where literally his muzzle was there as a toy, just like his original cell. Yes, maybe it was because, as according to major mainstream nerd news, this book makes Absorbing Man great again. He needed to be ham-fistedly put into this. Also, according to some, this was originally supposed to be an Absorbing Man book that became a Black Bolt solo, which to me reeks that the book was going to be fairly mediocre with its title character, so we can see what Ahmed wanted to do with Absorbing Man. Man, if only Marvel let themselves have miniseries so we could get some interesting books, not needing to be tied in with whatever they're pushing at the time. The second major scene that hurt this book is the ending with him speaking. What could easily have been a big moment, you've had an entire book with his narration saying he's a king and this is mainly his brother's fault. They kill off Black Bolt and then have him revive, in also an awkwardly brighter and more in tune with Marvel standard art-wise, at least that's how it looks to me, where he says that he totally deserves everything that happened. Why is this bad to me at least? You have literally half a book that really wants to be character-driven and deep, which then gets hit by the Marvel method. Crap, we need an action beat in there. Plus, an ending that almost screams, you can't have a character who can't speak. Add more so we can get some banter in there, damn it. I've read some of Ahmed's short stories, and frankly, this is why I worry about his transition into comics. Sometimes a fantastic prose writer can't transfer over because they know how to write wordy, which is why I'm glad there's almost a minimalist approach to the narrative here. But in doing so, you have a very basic character who loses it all because he doesn't go through any actual journey throughout for us to see a switch from I am king to I deserve to be here. He walks and walks, kicks Absorbing Man's ass, and then gets killed because of a surprise that shouldn't have been a surprise, since again, Absorbing Man is fleshed throughout his fight, so it's just like, yeah, if, you're an observant reader. And that is why I worry about Ahmed on Exiles. Yes, this whole thing was a build to me answering the question postulated by Matthew Lipton about why I am not looking forward to the Exiles book. there's the Marvel method that every book has to have now. So character development gets nullified to try and drag a story as long as possible. Picture, if you will, this book was maybe called Marvel Presents now, and it still had the Black Bolt cover and still did its first major arc. But it didn't state that it was a Black Bolt specific book. So maybe when Black Bolt ripped off his own toy muzzle and found that his voice was not shattering everything around him, he got killed. And then it cuts to not him being alive, but to Creel going, "There's a damn shame, but that's life" in Supermax or wherever they are. Now, suddenly, you've got a book where you can tell goddamn stories and not cancel ongoing because they aren't selling. Yes, it means you have to actually promote. You know what? That'll be a separate video altogether. This review is for Black Bolt and not me just bashing on Marvel's lack of foresight for most of their books. Then again, Black Bolt is up to what, issue 9? Which I assume is a contractual thing since the sales aren't that good and better books have been canceled for around the same sales. I mean, it did drop sales from 40 to 20k from issues 1 and 2, but that's probably over shipping, I'd wager, because that's kind of what Marvel banks on. Anyways, what is my verdict on this book? It is a solid read it. For some, there's enough character that Ahmed squeezes in, as well as enough of a "huh, what?" going on to make you want to check out the next issue. Plus, I do really dig the art, even if there's some that I know won't like it because it's more of a feeling art than a realistic art. But it is, at the very least, worth the read and discovering for yourself whether or not it's worth continuing to buy to you. I'm actually going to check out the next couple of issues, and who knows, maybe I may do a binging on comics video for the first volume if this whole Absorbing Man plot works out like everyone says. It's actually kind of ironic that Jason Aaron used him as a proxy for everyone who couldn't accept Jane Foster's Thor because Aaron added a mystery no one cared about, to apparently being the reason that Black Bolt actually got a solo series. Okay, maybe it's only ironic to me. Coincidental to everyone else. But that is all for today. If you agree with me that Black Bolt was at least worth reading, or disagree and felt that it was either the greatest thing ever, or was it inhuman letdown, let me know in the comments below. Also, while you're in the comments, let me know what the next first issues should be. Either past or present, or if you want to leak me a future first issue, go for that too. I like those. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and please check out our Patreon. Donating there gets you some decent access to me, and hey, you can always hate pledge so you can get my P.O. Box number. Just remember I have kids, so at least label your letter bombs first. And always remember, stay golden, Inklings.